Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. It's the season finale of Monday Night Raw. Season finale. Season finale? What season? What season? If you don't stop your show and you don't have an off season, your season premieres and your season finales don't mean jack shit. You don't allow time for anybody to miss you. You don't allow for anything to build up. Season finale. It was the last Raw of the year. It's going to be right back to us next week, killing us and filling our brains with absolute trash, just like they did tonight on the last show of the year, the last Raw of the season. Wasn't all that bad, but it also wasn't all that good, and we are here to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show Monday Night Raw Review Season Finale. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
When one of the best segments on the night include the newly crowned King Corbin, you know that Monday Night Raw had to have a lot of things wrong with it, and as always, that's why you come here to me, as we are going to go over everything wrong with tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Thank you once again for joining me, and let's get this shit show underway, because the WWE has no idea what they're doing. They threw a bunch of repeat segments at everybody, and I see everybody on social media just, oh, look at the Fatal Five-Way. It was so great, man. Oh, the Fiend. Oh, when the Fiend comes on the screen, I just want to bust all over my pants, and I just can't control myself because the mask gets me all crazy, and Bray Wyatt's a genius, and the puppets are... Everybody needs to calm down. I love the Fiend. I love the Fiend just as much as every one of you. But when you take a step back while you're all mesmerized, let me snap yous out of it. Snap out of it. Because they ended the show exactly the same way they ended last week's show. The same exact camera angles. The same exact facial expressions. Seth Rollins trying his damnedest to look like he's absolutely terrified, bugging his eyes out in the corner while the lights are flickering, and the Fiend is just laughing in the dark. And only this time he's got Braun Strowman in the mandible claw. They are running the risk of drowning us in the Fiend. And as much as I enjoy it, if you keep doing this, it's going to get old very quickly. I told you guys my main fear is the WWE already. They've claimed ownership, in a way, of Bray Wyatt's new creation, because they're leading you into the Fiend segments all night long. Oh, the new installment of the Firefly Funhouse tonight. They should never know when that's going to happen. The announce team should always play it off as something fucked up has gone on. Never know where it's coming from like it was happening in the beginning. They should be like mid-sentence doing some promo that nobody wants to hear them say, and then everything cuts to the Firefly Funhouse, and it could start fuzzing out the camera feed and doing all the little flickers and the weirdness that Bray Wyatt brings. They did it during the sign-in before the show. The signature where they show that then, now, and forever nonsense. They had the Fiend apparently messing with that. He has psycho capabilities to mess with that, apparently. Which is all cool, and I could get into it. But when you do it too much, and when the WWE is using it to lure you in, they've taken it and are just like, hang on and wait for it. Sit through the rest of this trash. Just eat a little bit more of this garbage nugget. Just shove it down your throat. I know it tastes like shit, but eat it. Just eat it. Because the Fiend is coming. We promise. And then he comes, and what did they do? The same exact thing, because they are so lacking in their creative abilities that they can't come up with something new. Just because they did it to somebody else doesn't make it a new segment. And they ended the show exactly the same. And what do you think's going to happen next week, everybody? Oh, the Fatal 5-Way! That was so awesome, guys! Everybody needs to calm down. Take a look at this Fatal 5-Way. What did we have in this Fatal 5-Way? We had Ricochet, who absolutely should not have been in this match. What has Ricochet done to deserve an opportunity at the Universal Champion? If my memory serves me correctly, every time we see Ricochet, he's getting his shoulders pinned to the mat as of recent weeks. So why is he getting involved in championship scenarios? Then, talking championship scenarios, we got three champions in this match. The SmackDown Live Intercontinental Champion, who shouldn't be here because he's from SmackDown Live and he shouldn't be wrestling on the show, but let's forget that. We got the SmackDown Live Intercontinental Champion, Shinsuke Nakamura, in this match. You got AJ Styles, the United States Champion, in this match, and you got one half of Rudolph, the Ziglorious One, Bobby Pood, one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions, who shouldn't be in this match either. Just because you're a Tag Team Champion doesn't automatically make you a contender for the Universal Championship. Why he had the match with Seth Rollins already, the one-on-one match they had, in which it was all nonsense. And that was all their reasoning to get Bobby Roode in this match. And now you have these four promising talents, right? And Rey Mysterio. Oh, Ray, 619. Why did Rey Mysterio win this match? Well, Rey Mysterio won this match because the WWE has no faith in their young rosters to build a main event because they are a bunch of inept monkeys who have no idea how to do their job. They just fall back. That's what they do. Oh, we don't know what to do. Just because we're setting the clocks back in a little while don't mean you have to fall back literally, all right? Oh, we don't know. Oh, how nobody's going to care about AJ. Nobody's going to care about Seth versus Shinsuke. Nobody's going to care about Seth versus Ricochet. Oh, maybe they'll care about Seth versus Rey Mysterio. This is a dream match. We'll promote the dream match in 7 days and we'll have them wrestle for the Universal title and everything will be great because it's Rey Mysterio and he's from the Attitude Era and he wrestled on WCW and he's like the grandfather of Cruiserweight Wrestling and blah, 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 blah. Get out of here. It's that same old WWE doing what the WWE does, and it's giving us legends versus guys that are not worthy of even fight. What fucking dream match is this? Who's dreaming of Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins? What's wrong with you? You need to go seek psychiatric help, because you are a psycho. Who's dreaming of that? Apparently Vince McMahon is dreaming of that. I had a dream done. I dreamed Rey Mysterio came out looking like the Red Rooster. And he's gonna wrestle Seth Rollins. Awful. Meanwhile, he is the only logical choice in that matchup to win. But what they should have done was given us 5 guys who have never had a chance at the Universal Championship. You know, give us the Cedric Alexanders. Instead of serving EC3 up on a silver platter to fucking Rusev, why didn't you put him in a Fatal 5-Way? Since you just handed him out, Ricochet didn't do anything to deserve it, so why does anybody else need it? Just random. Let's just pick 5 guys, boom, and put them all over in this one match. Give these guys all as just a random opportunity at the championship, and give all the other champions stuff to do pertaining to their championships. Let Shinsuke and Sami Zayn develop their fucking rivalry with whoever it is that's coming up next. Let AJ Styles and Cedric Alexander do more than just a little run-in spot at the beginning of the show. Develop those championships. Make them feel special. Don't have champions show up in a match just to fucking lose to a legend. Does nobody any good at the end of the day. Oh, Raw is great, man. Raw started off with Seth Rollins coming out because he's finally going to admit that he's scared of the Fiend. The whole world would be scared of the Fiend if he was in your face and ready to lock that mandible claw into your gullet. You would be running for your life. You would be shitting your pants. There would be no escape for you, and the end would be near. Everybody's afraid. You can tell us you're afraid all you want. You don't look scared. Seth Rollins is a terrible actor. Braun Strowman interrupts for absolutely no reason when it comes down to it. He has nothing to do with the Fiend. Seth Rollins already beat him, so he has nothing to do with that. He's showing up last week, or the week before that, whenever it was. He's decimating the whole entire tag team division, and now he's back talking to Seth Rollins for some reason. A bunch of stuff that makes no sense whatsoever. They just start talking bullshit to each other. Next thing you know, they are challenging each other to a fight, which is going to happen later this night. And as soon as I heard Braun's fucking music come out, and he came out in his big giant brown spray tan, I knew how the show was going to end. Because the WWE leaked that shit weeks ago. We talked about the triple threat in the Hell in a Cell. Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins, and The Fiend. I thought the WWE smartened up and last week threw a curveball at us and changed it for good. But no, they went back to the well, back to what they were going to do in the first place, making everything to follow 100% predictable. What I couldn't predict was the fact that the OC was going to get some new music. Good shit, man. They needed it. Much, much needed. Especially after that previous run and that first song, which was pretty god-awful, really. It was terrible. And I thought this was great. It was going to allow them to wash away the filth of being the Good Brothers and all that old shit we had to associate with their previous song. Thought it was great. But then they lost anyway. It was all for nothing, and the OC continued to go about their loser ways as they took a big old L to the Viking Raider Experience Warrior Raiders. And while I don't essentially have a problem with it because one of these teams have to lose, one of these teams has to win, it just didn't come off in a way to put over the club as well. This was a decent match between the two teams, but when you just have them beaten like they've been getting beaten over and over and over again, you're not going to have any reason to believe they're going to beat anybody. I know we're talking about the Viking Warriors, Raiders, Experiencers. But at the end of the day, this really didn't do anything for anybody. During the match, AJ Styles was removed from ringside by the referee, even though he really didn't do anything. He was actually taunted by one of the Viking Warriors, Raiders, whatever it is, and got subsequently ejected from ringside, and he was met at the top of the stage by Cedric Alexander. There were some fisticuffs and some shenanigans. Michael Cole had the balls to say, "Oh, there's Cedric Alexander. They have a long simmering rivalry." Long simmering rivalry. First of all, nobody's got these two in a pot in the oven boiling in a bucket of hot water, all right? Nothing is simmering nowhere. These guys have been fighting for 3-4 weeks at best. That's a long simmering rivalry? That's crazy. And Cedric keeps losing on top of that. This rivalry is neither long or simmering. False, Michael Cole. The Viking Raiders defeat the OC. Then we get porn star Rusev coming out, and he's going to take on EC3. Rusev returns, but it seems to me like Rusev Day has been canceled until further notice. There is no sign of Rusev Day in any of his digital stuff that accompanies him on the Titantron or the ramp. The announce team never once said Rusev Day. I think they are going away from everything that the fans took and made their own about Rusev. They are trying to make him in this light of the Bulgarian Brute again. And this matchup and the way that they have brought Rusev back have left the crowd absolutely uninterested. And all they have been chanting throughout the entirety of this matchup, if you want to call it an entirety, because it maybe lasted a good 2-3 minutes, was "We want Lana. We want Lana." Everything about this match was hugely wrong. This should have been a match used to get both men back on the right course. EC3 has been sitting in catering for God knows how long. The guy is a primetime talent. You wouldn't know that unless you know him from his days in Impact Wrestling, which I am familiar with him in, and he was really great. He was really great, and he is suffering from the curse of being a former TNA superstar. That's the only reason I have It's the only thing I could come up with on how the WWE just failed this kid on such an epic level that they have him showing up after months of being away and not on TV and not in front of anybody to see other than little segments in the 24/7 bullshit title segments. And he's served up to Rusev, given zero offense. Why? Why couldn't they have had a nice fight between the two of them? Maybe have it end with nobody winning so that you can continue. Maybe build something between EC3 and Rusev. Do something different with both of these men. But instead, you jobbed out EC3. You treated him like a local talent. You might as well have labeled him a look, put him in a fucking wig and a robe and call him Dick Butthole from wherever the fuck we are tonight. Awful. Somebody in WWE Creative absolutely hates EC3, and I'm pretty sure they're still not too high on Rusev as well, because they brought him back, took away everything that everybody loved about him. He doesn't have Lana, he's not doing the Rusev Day thing anymore, and I don't think anybody really cares, because nobody gave a shit about this matchup. This was awful. Sasha Banks versus Nikki Cross. This was a very, very good match. This was the first time these two women have ever faced off, and I definitely enjoyed it. However, what was the point of all this here? Sasha and Bayley have to be attached at the hip. The Boss and connection can't do anything by themselves. I really am getting sick of seeing them together. I wish Sasha Banks can go out there once in a while on her own and not always have Bayley up her ass, which is unnecessary. She's the SmackDown Live Women's Champion. She should be on SmackDown Live. If Sasha shows up on SmackDown Live, then they can hang out together and be best Bayley buddies. If Sasha Banks is on Monday Night Raw, there was no reason for Bayley to be there. And she should have been able to go out there tonight and handle her business on her own, because she did that anyway. She handled the Women's Tag Team Champions all by herself, which is, I don't care too much for Bliss and Cross as the champions, but they are champions, and you are disrespecting those championships even still. They're doing the best they can to try to make them mean something by putting them on Bliss and Cross and pushing them to the moon, since they've been on the waist of these two females, and now you're just having them beaten by one woman. So how good of tag team champions are they really? I just don't understand why this was really necessary. And it seemed a bit much, with Sasha just dominating Nikki Cross towards the end of this thing, taking care of Alexa Bliss with little to no effort. Everybody suffered the bank statement. Everybody's tapping out all over the place. The tag team champions looked like idiots tonight, even more so than they do on a usual basis. At least we didn't have a moment of bliss or anything like that, but we had a very good matchup between Sasha and Nikki Cross. This is the type of stuff I want to see more of, but the women's division has nobody else. So we're going to continue to see them just fight in this round robin of the same bunch of girls. Proven by the WWE telling us that next week on the season premiere, that Sasha Banks is going to fight the other half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Alexa Bliss, and I already don't care. The Street Profits, time-wasting segment, sitting in the back saying a bunch of shit. I couldn't even keep up with them. They were talking so fast and I didn't really care. And then The Miz comes out and interrupts, all to announce the birth of his new baby girl, Madison, I believe was the name he said. Congratulations to The Miz. Great. Miz Dad is now ×2. Miz Dad to the second power is going to nauseate us to the second power, because now he's never going to turn heel again. Or at least it seems that way. And he's going to have a Miz TV next week on the season premiere, which is going to involve Hulk Hogan and the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Bringing back the legends, because we don't have faith in our booking ability with a bunch of kids who should be over like gangbusters by now, but aren't, because we suck at our jobs. Right, Mr. McMahon?
That's right, you asshole! You're fired!
Lacey Evans versus Ember Moon. Lacey Evans versus Ember Moon. You guys... Alright, I'll give it to you. Bam, 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 bam. Your grandma's mothballs and get the fresh step. because your cat's pissing in his litter box. I wasn't going to do it. I promised myself I was going to be nice because you know what? Something happened today that actually made me respect Lacey Evans for just a modicum of a second. And then Monday Night Raw happened and she botched the sharpshooter and she got the win over Ember Moon tonight. And all my respect went right out the window. And let me explain. You see, earlier today, if you haven't heard, Lacey Evans in Canada was pulled over by a police officer. I don't know what the hell she was doing, whether she was speeding or she did some sort of a weird Canadian lane change that you're not allowed, that she's unaware of. I don't know the circumstances of why she was pulled over. But she was pulled over, she was given a summons by this police officer. She then asked this police officer if he would mind cutting a promo with her. She probably explained who she was and that she wanted to do this thing. The officer was cool enough to be like, you know what, fine, I'll film this thing with you. Just make sure you pay your fine, probably. Alright, so she films this really cool segment where she's going off on this police officer for giving her a summons, calling him a nasty, all this kind of shit. It was great. And you know why it was great? Because it was classic heel tactics. Reminded me of something you would see on WWE Superstars on a Saturday morning. They'd film a segment where some superstar would probably get pulled over and give the cops some shit. Because he's a badass. And that's what Lacey Evans did, and she took it upon herself to do this, and it was a great idea. The girl proved herself to be an excellent heel. In that one moment, she shows that she has a mind for the business. She shows that she cares about her character, no matter how wretched it may be. And it gave me some respect for her. Especially since all you clowns on the internet and all you fucking idiots that came down on her because you don't understand what you're even watching and you thought that was actually real and you forget that we're wrestling fans and that these are wrestlers and they're doing wrestling things. If you think for 1 minute that Lacey Evans would have been able to film that police officer, say the things she said, and not end up getting arrested, you're out of your fucking mind. That was staged. It was a staged incident. It was a filmed segment for a television character, and the internet went nuts, and you got people going, you have no respect for law enforcement, and getting all on her for giving attitude to a cop. All these probably redneck guys, you gotta respect the law and the shield and the fuck out of here. Are you people insane? Do you not know what you're watching? Do you think that would have happened to Ric Flair back in the day if we were watching WCW and we seen some segment with Ric Flair getting pulled over for drunk driving or some shit playing off of something that really happened? Did everybody get on his case for screaming at the policeman? No, man, you don't do that. It's a TV show. She was playing a character. Come on, man. But all my defense of her goes right out the window anyway because, like I said, tonight she has this matchup with Ember Moon. She's terrible throughout this matchup. She has made some sort of strides to get a little bit better, but she wasn't really all that good anymore. Ember Moon is just a lost cause. She's a SmackDown superstar on Monday Night Raw, taking a loss to somebody she shouldn't be losing to. Lacey Evans shouldn't be continuing to get this push. She already had a shot at the Women's Championship and lost, and she should be back at the bottom of the barrel. And matches like this are the reasons why we have no women's division, because we keep seeing Charlotte and Sasha and Lacey and Becky continuing to win over and over and over again. And Alexa and Nikki just win after win after win. Match after match after match, and we don't see anybody else ever take center stage. We don't see anybody else ever get a win. We don't see anybody else ever put over. Everybody's just there to lose to Vince's favorites and all the goddamn blondes on the roster. That's what it looks like to me at the end of the day. Terrible. You'll never build anyone if they can't win. And if you keep making that one person win over and over and over again, you're just shoving them down our throats and nobody gives a shit. You're not moving anywhere with Lacey Evans. We just keep seeing the same thing over and over and over again. And she's still stuck in this feud with Natalya. She botches the sharpshooter. Ember Moon has to tap out to a botched finish. Fucking awful. Awful. So you know what? She deserved that song at the end of the day. I was going to try to be nice, but she deserved it this time. Mothballs and cat piss. Good old Lacey Evans. The Firefly Funhouse segment popped up finally, and we had Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse talking to his little puppets, and I don't have my puppets within arm reach, so I'm not going to grab mine this time. But we had the little fat piggy puppet, and we had Ramblin' Rabbit or the Squirrel or whichever one it was, and they were all fighting over a Seth Rollins action figure, all for Bray Wyatt to break it up. Anyway, he took the action figure, he broke it up, told everybody they have to share. Sharing means caring. See you in hell. Bye-bye. Good stuff. No problem with that. But then we move on to the 24/7, hey, look at me, I'm a clown, avocado-covered, gold-plated championship nonsense that just makes me want to murder myself on a weekly basis. R-Truth was chased into the ring. Carmella followed him, as well as half of the goddamn catering all-stars. Carmella then stops in the middle of the ring. She grabs a microphone. She begs everybody, please, everybody, stop chasing us. We're tired of being chased. Just give us a break. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody sort of obliges. They kind of back off. And then R-Truth gives Carmella a hug. Like, thank you, Carmella, for saving my ass. And then Carmella pins him. Carmella pins him and wins the stupid title. And then R-Truth carries her to safety. Fuck all this. I don't even know how to describe it to you. And I don't care. And neither should you. King Corbin makes his debut as king, and the WWE music department once again proves their laziness. They took a portion of a King song and just put it in front of the End of Days song, and then looped it very awkwardly and very terribly. It's an off-putting theme. I don't know what the hell is going on with this company. Between their merchandise department and the music department and the creative department putting out the television product, there is nobody doing their job right in the WWE at all. So it's no wonder it's in the position that it's in. However, King Corbin comes out, and he's got on this really cool-looking black crown. He's got a black scepter and a wolf skin king's robe, something that you could liken to if you were from the north in Game of Thrones. It was very cool-looking, man. I have to say that I'm into it. I like that they were going this route with him. I like that they are going to, acknowledge the king as an actual thing, and that they weren't. I thought, with Chad Gable stomping the crown last week, that they were just going to do away with it and he was just going to be Baron Corbin, the king of the ring for 2019. But he seems to be going with the gimmick, and I can't believe I'm sitting here telling you guys that I'm not over on it. I'm not going, oh, Baron Corbin's awesome now, but you know what? He's tolerable. I can watch this. He kept his little speech short and sweet prior to his matchup with Chad Gable tonight, and this was a great match. And of course this was a great match because it was very similar to the match that we've seen them have previously. It wasn't really that different from their King of the Ring Finals matchup, which was a great match. These guys have tremendous chemistry. They told a great story in the ring. Chad Gable had this matchup within his grasp when he locked up King Corbin in the ankle lock. King Corbin, with no other choice left, made it to the corner and then attacked Chad Gable with the Black Scepter, causing the disqualification, giving the win by disqualification to Chad Gable. And it was great. It was fine. Nothing was wrong with this segment. It was booked perfectly. The finish is the exact way it should have happened. You can now go forward and continue to tell this story. They can have another matchup between the two because there was no clear defined winner on that second time. Baron Corbin looked fantastic. He's looked the best he's ever looked to me in quite some time. Chad Gable just continues to get himself over with his athletic ability and the way he performs with Baron Corbin. The momentum in this matchup was back and forth like a pendulum. Lots of very close near falls. It was a great, great matchup. You should go back and watch it if you missed it. It was I really had a lot of fun, and it would be against everything in me if I don't tell you guys the truth. And as much as we come down on Corbin and we call him Constable Dickhead throughout the whole entirety of 2018 and into the early part of 2019, the guy is starting to show some potential once again, and the king of the ring, one of my worst fears was going to this guy, and it looks like it may turn out to be for the best, at least in its initial run with this feud with Chad Gable. If they continue down this road and they go a little bit carefully, this could be something really special, and by the end of it all, Gable and Corbin will take a nice big step up in everybody's mind and elevate themselves on the card, just based off of what they are doing in the ring with each other. The Fatal 5-Way then came up. We talked about this pretty much. Ricochet, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, and Rey Mysterio. I laid it out for you guys. Ricochet didn't belong in this matchup. Three separate champions all suffered a pinfall in this one matchup to give a victory to a returning legend who hasn't won a fucking match since he's been back. All because he dedicated it to Dominic. This one's for Dominic. I didn't care. Am I supposed to care because he dedicated it to his son? Bray's not going to win. It didn't matter who was going to win this match. That's why I said you could have gave it to 5 other fucking guys. It didn't matter who was going to win this match. Because next week they're going to fight Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. And they're going to lose that matchup. If they don't lose that matchup at the hands of Seth Rollins, we all already know that the Fiend is going to come out and have his sights set on another legend in Rey Mysterio. He's going to probably interfere before the finish of that match so that Rey Mysterio doesn't have to lose to Seth and Seth doesn't have to lose to Rey. And we will probably be going off the air for the 3rd week in a row the exact same way, overexposing and repeating the Fiend 3 times in a row. Mark my words when that happens. Remember you heard it here, because you're gonna hear me remind you next week when we review the season premiere. And then Rollins versus Strowman. 15 minutes of me waiting for the Fiend to show up and then attack Braun Strowman so that Braun Strowman can be inserted into the Hell in a Cell match either on social media sometime throughout the week or next week on Monday Night Raw as we get ready to go home for the Hell in a Cell. One other thing that happens tonight that I have to make mention of is the Kevin Owen twins show back up tonight. You know, they sit there in these chairs, and the Authors of Pain look like 2 high school bullies sitting in the principal's office that got busted, you know? And I feel like on the other side of the camera, there's a principal standing there like this. And they're sitting there trying to explain to the principal that we are the Authors of Pain and, you know, we don't take no shit and nobody can stand up to us. And then they leave. They get up and leave. They go and beat up, I think it was No Way Jose. I don't know. Maybe the hair wasn't green enough. I couldn't even tell. They're walking down the hallway. They come across 2 wrestlers. They beat the shit out of them. The camera goes to black. And then it comes back. And they're sitting in the back again. And they're fixing their little suit. And they're just like, you see? We told you. Nobody will fight us. Because we're 2 guys that look like teenage boys that are in a whole lot of trouble right now. And we're sweating like Shane McMahon. And we don't know what we're doing. And this is awful. I don't want to see the Authors of Pain like this anymore. This is almost as bad as the Aleister Black promos. Who's coming up with this shit? Because it's awful. Why are they dressed in suits? Ladies and gentlemen, that was tonight's Monday Night Raw review. We're going to keep it short and sweet tonight. This show, again, it had a couple of good moments. But for the most part, it was a big, steaming pile of dog shit. Once again, I cannot get excited for it. I'm a little bit afraid of next week with the season premiere. We're going to have a new logo, which we got a peek at tonight, which doesn't look all that impressive, if I'm being honest with you. We're going to get a new color scheme for Monday Night Raw. They're going to tone down the white. Looks like they're toning that down, which is alright with me. I think that whole white color scheme for the Raw thing was just way too much for me. And supposedly, there's going to be the return of the pyrotechnics next week. And all of these things just add up to me having to tell you guys one thing. You can add up all the sizzle you want. If you don't give me any steak, I'm not going to feel fulfilled with my dining experience. You could bring out the plate with sparklers all around it, violinists playing my favorite song, and doing all kinds of crazy shit, naked women all around my table just showing me their boobs and giving me fresh milk. I don't know, I'm getting crazy with it because I'm trying to come up with a scenario that wouldn't matter. All of that shit wouldn't matter if you didn't give me a fucking good meal to digest and eat and sink my teeth into. And that's what's going to happen with Monday Night Raw now. They're going to have the fireworks, and it's going to look cool, and we're going to have a cool new logo, and everything's still going to be shit when it's all said and done. Oh, Paul Heyman's running things now. What are you talking about? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Don't tell me Paul Heyman's running nothing. Paul Heyman nor Eric Bischoff ain't running shit. They are sitting in a seat that is ice cold, and all they're sitting there is to give ideas that are going to be shot down by the crazy old man that's in charge. Because that's what we keep getting. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out this script was ripped up minutes before the show as well. Because I thought Braun Strowman was being written away from the Universal Championship, and now it looks like they found a loophole to go right back to where they were headed in the first place. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. This was a tough episode for me to do. This has been a fucking rough week. I have been in a lot of pain this week, which I haven't shared with you guys very much. I don't really get personal with you guys, and I figured I'd do it at the end, because if you guys are real fans of mine and you really care about me, you're going to be here at 37 minutes into the video, and I'll just get a little personal with you guys. And we got some situations going on in the Nightmare household, and this week is going to be a very tough week for us to get through. And by the end of the week, our whole entire lives might be completely different. I'm dealing with a couple of physical things. My wife as well is dealing with a couple of physical things, and we are all both going to get through it no matter what. And It's just been a rough week, and getting through my days at work has been absolutely horrible. I'm having a hard time staying on my feet. I cannot get to wrestling school. I can't fucking do much of anything except sit, which is good, because at least I can sit here and talk to you and do these reviews. But don't worry too much about me, because your boy is going to be here for you guys tomorrow night for SmackDown Live and Wednesday night for NXT, and as long as I can sit here and do my thing, I will be here bringing my very, very best to you guys. If you enjoyed today's show, as always, team, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, share this video with all of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, and most importantly, do not forget to subscribe to this show, and make sure you are here for everything that's coming in the future, and get us over that 2,000 subscriber mark before the release of WWE 2K20. That would be absolutely balls, you guys, and it's only a couple of weeks away, and I think we can do it. And it starts with a super awesome wrestling fan like you, who has yet to join the Sledge Nation and considering doing so right now, and I know you are going to hit it right now. Thank you guys all so very much. All 1,900 plus of you that are already members of the Sledgehead Army, and the rest of my Sledgeheads that are about to join. I can't thank you enough. Without you guys sitting there watching, I'm just a crazy guy sitting here talking to a Logic camera, and that might be one of the craziest things I have ever done in my life. But I know you guys are there because you will be in the comments section, and I invite you to leave your comments. Let me know what you think about Monday Night Raw. Let me know what you feel is going to happen on next week's season premiere. Do you think it was a big deal that we had a season finale and a season premiere? Because I certainly don't. Thank you all once again for being with me throughout this whole entire journey, and let's keep it rolling as we get going with a new season of Monday Night Raw next week. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you. I love you all so very much. That is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Boom.